I've never unlocked a platinum trophy in my life, and today that all changes.
Yes.
And for whatever reason, I chose Squirrel with a Gun to be my first platinum trophy ever. Now, Squirrel with a Gun, released in 2024, shortly after going viral for its hilarious concept, is an indie action-adventure game where you play as a squirrel and you use guns. And I chose this game as sort of a gateway game into platinum trophy grinding because on PSN profiles, it's listed as a 2 out of 10 difficulty. It requires 1 playthrough and approximately 6 hours of gameplay, which may or may not have taken us much longer. So to begin the game, we are placed in our first location called the Secret Bunker, where our main goal is to basically just get the feel for how the squirrel moves around, because it's definitely very awkward at first, as you can tell. And after pressing all of the accessible buttons, we then learn how to pick up items and throw them to activate the rest of the buttons, unlocking our first of 56 golden acorns in the game and our first of 20 trophies. And similar to Indiana Jones picking up the golden idol, as soon as we collect that first golden acorn, we are introduced to our main enemies in this game, the agents. And this agent here channels his inner Joe Biden, falling on his face, dropping his gun, which is then picked up by our squirrel, and this is where we claim our first of many bodies, shooting the agent in the face, causing him to be stunned and allowing us to perform a takedown on him, which is one of 9 different takedowns that we have to perform to unlock the action button hero trophy. And after unlocking the first door and taking out the 2 agents, we collect our first acorn, which is going to be the main currency in this game, being used to unlock many different weapons and vehicles. Now, right as we enter the main part of the secret bunker, we find our first wedge, which is one of the 3 main collectibles that we will have to find in every location in the game. As we progress through the secret bunker, we learn some advanced movement tactics such as climbing and jumping from pole to pole, and using our weapons to boost our jumps much further. Then soon after finding our second weapon, the mini Uzi, we learn how to use our hyper focus ability, which will knock agents down and cause them to drop their weapons, making them very easy to kill. And as we're on our way out of the secret bunker, we find our first clothing piece, which is the last of 3 different types of collectibles we have to find in every location. Now, once we escape the secret bunker, we find ourselves in a nice bright area called the neighborhood, which is the open world area consisting of 18 main locations and 2 secret locations in this game. This is where we find our first location called the Spicy House and climb the flagpole, which shows us every collectible we have to get from this area. As we enter our first house, we are surprised by our first citizen, who just barges in the front door and tries to take a picture of us like a pervy neighbor, and me not knowing all the controls yet, actually snap his neck, which that counts towards one of our 9 takedowns, so that was technically a good thing. So I parkour my way through the entire house and on top of the roof, collecting all 3 golden acorns, and then making my way to our second location called the cookout party. And here, some people are cooking out and having a party. Here I meet a group of guests that are waiting on their food, so I go ahead and check on the cook, and after accidentally snapping his neck as well, I noticed the grill wasn't working. So I brought over a new gas can that I found in the bushes in the front yard, and while I was trying to fix this guy's grill, I ended up accidentally recreating the ending of Final Destination 2. But somehow that got us a golden acorn, so we'll take that as well. So I proceeded to knock out some random lady with a burger patty and then forcefully enter this innocent family's house to get my collectibles. And while I was looting this house, I stumble across this strange man holding his neck in pain, so I end up throwing a 45-pound kettlebell at him just to try to help his pain, which doesn't work, so I then snap his neck, which fixes his neck pain, giving us the chiropractor golden acorn. After collecting everything inside the house, we make our way back outside, where we give everybody their cooked patties, giving us the flash fried patties golden acorn. Then we take the birthday cake over to the sad birthday man, where we get the sparkler hat and the last collectible of the location. As we're leaving the area, we are thrown into a cutscene introducing us to the father, who is driving a tank and is one of the 2 main bosses in this game. And if we want to fight father, we need to purchase a car in order to unlock his underground bunker. So our goal at this point is to collect as many acorns as possible, which leads us to unlocking our next trophy called Reach for the Sky, which is unlocked for holding up a citizen and is overall just a great way to make acorns in this game. And after robbing those 2 innocent women, we find ourselves at the fenced block location, which has a secret cave underneath, where we find a bomb suit to protect us from all explosive damage, because without this suit, this location would be nearly impossible to get through. And this is where we find our next weapon, which is the shotgun, and then we use the shotgun to take out the owner of this location, who goes by the name of Landmine Guy, and he definitely needs to be sent to rehab. Then this is where it took me way too long to figure out that the bomb suit was weighing me down to the point where I couldn't make the jump to this golden acorn. Once I finally figured it out and made the 2 jumps, I realized that I didn't even have enough acorns to buy the last collectible of the location. This ends up being a common theme in this game, where you try so hard to get to a point and then you realize you don't even have enough acorns to buy the collectible. And that's because I ended up buying the car right before this, so we just end up going into Father's underground lair to see what it's all about. Here we have to drive the car while shooting agents standing in our way, which ended up being much harder than it looks, because controlling the car while shooting your gun is not very fun. But after passing that annoying part, we find ourselves in the first boss fight of the game against Father and his massive tank. Here, Father is basically invincible until we disable the tank by shooting all the tires out and shooting off the front. This makes him lose his shield and allows us to shoot and kill him from above. And after Father is defeated, we get the anti-tank rodent trophy. Now, after the boss fight, we start to work on our next location called the Yeehaw Zone, which is basically just all Wild West themed and is definitely one of the best locations in the entire game in my opinion. Here we find a 6-shooter pistol and then use use it to take out a saloon full of cowboys to get the Saloony Goons Golden Acorn. Then we do some target practice to unlock our very own squirrel-sized cowboy hat, and right next to us we find an outhouse and unlock the John, Lou, and Dunny trophy for finding every latrine in the game. We then shoot down the fake sign and climb a very tall cactus while our squirrel screams in pain the entire time to collect the next 2 golden acorns. With only 2 golden acorns remaining in this area, I couldn't figure out what to do for the longest time until I ended up throwing a bomb in the outhouse, causing it to explode with oil and giving us a new skin color and our next trophy called I'm an Oil Squirrel, which then brought us to our last golden acorn of the location that I could not find for the life of me, until I just randomly spotted this cash register that somehow ended up on the stairs, flipped over on its side, so we blew it up and it gave us the final golden acorn of the Yeehaw Zone. At our next location, we have a wedding taking place in the backyard of this house, but before I get involved, I had to channel my inner bubble TJ Warren, sinking 3 shots, giving us access to the roof of the house. Here we find the groom, who's had a little bit too much to drink, so we push him off the roof and he wakes up and gets married like nothing ever happened. But we get an acorn out of it, so that's all that matters. We then activate the retractable staircase in this couple's house, which is something I've never seen before, and it gives us the certified Greek golden acorn. And with 2 acorns left here, we steal this couple's basketball, take it to the roof, and sink our last shot, giving us the pro basketball acorn. And for the final acorn of the location, we find a secret room where a group of drunken perverts have just been waiting this whole time for a squirrel to pole dance while they make it rain. Still very confused about this one. And once they are satisfied enough, we get the party pole acorn and can finally leave this unsafe environment. From here, we end up spinning around in a car for way too long just to make enough acorns to purchase the last collectible of the skate park area, which is going to be a location that we frequently come back to farm acorns. Continuing to clean up the collectibles, we head back to the secret bunker where the game originally started to collect 6 items that we originally missed and we now have the ability to reach. Next, we head to the football field, aka the gridiron, which is easily my favorite part of this entire game. Here we have to channel our inner Devin Hester and go the full length of the field, dodging all these tackles to score and unlock our first golden acorn of the location. And then this happens. And with 1 acorn remaining in the area, all we have to do is to make the simple field goal, unlike Cody Parkey in 2018. And with that, we are done with the football field. Next, I actually unlocked a trophy by spamming jump while falling off a flagpole, which triggers a superhero landing and giving us that trophy. From here, I robbed quite a few innocent people so that I could afford the boat vehicle, which is the key to unlocking the final location of the game. Now, hopping on the boat gives us the nautical squirrel trophy, and this is where stuff really starts to turn up, because we have to eliminate a ton of agents that are shooting at us while skiing behind a boat. And after successfully clearing all the agents and roadblocks, we take this nice colorful water slide where we end up in the water park and are instantly greeted by Mother. And Mother is the final boss of this game that once we defeat, we unlock the Platinum Trophy. But we still have a lot of work to do. So in this massive location, there are 5 buttons scattered around that we have to activate in order to make it to the boss fight. And each one of these buttons has its own separate, very complicated process to activate. So in the process of getting the first button, we unlock another 2 trophies, with the first being Rocket Flying Squirrel, which I got on complete accident by grabbing a rocket that was shot at me, and the second trophy being Phone Thief, which I got for stealing this random woman's phone. Now to activate the first button, we have to weigh down 3 smaller buttons underwater using kettlebells, which drains the pool, allowing us to jump onto the button from the diving board. For the second button, we find a secret underwater cave full of jellyfish where we find a diving suit that makes swimming much easier for us in this game. And while down here, we shoot a massive anchor with an RPG, causing it to fall and activate the second button. Moving on to the third button, we finally figured out how to use the helium tanks to make the bouncy houses float in the air. After doing this, we can climb up to the platforms in the sky where we can jump off and activate the third button. From here, I ended up knocking out a few more golden acorns on the way to activating the fourth button, and this is where we unlock my favorite weapon in the entire game, the sniper rifle, which is a one-shot headshot every single time. So immediately putting the sniper to the test, we take out all these big head agents, giving us the sniper squirrel golden acorn. Then we go down every single water slide, turning them gold, unlocking the water slide fast pass golden acorn, another one that took me way too long to figure out. Next, as we try to unlock the fourth button, we have to go back into the jellyfish cave to find the purple helium canisters, which gives us access to the fourth button, where we jump off the bouncy house like 2009 Jeff Hardy, and with that, we have 1 button remaining before the boss fight. After climbing this tree on the side of the map that I didn't even realize existed, we jump and activate button number 5. And as the doors open, we finally gain access to the quadcopter, which is the key to the boss fight and a few other trophies in this game. Now, entering the boss fight, we have to take out platforms full of agents to keep unlocking higher platforms, which eventually leads to the final battle area. But to start out, I decided to target the close shave trophy you get for shaving 30 agents' heads with the quadcopter. After successfully unlocking that trophy, we fly to the top of the tower, triggering entering the cutscene for the final boss fight. And surprisingly enough, this boss fight is actually fairly simple. All we have to do is disable the helicopter, then kill the agents inside of it. So I grab a mini Uzi, which is very helpful at the first platform of this fight, and target all the weak spots on the helicopter, causing it to crash right next to us. Now the agents inside become vulnerable, and killing them takes away from Mother's health bar, leaving her at just over half health. And this causes us to go into phase 2 of the fight, where we have to fly up to the second platform and attack again. With Mother being much further away during the second phase, I chose to use the sniper rifle to make disabling the helicopter much easier. And once we disable this helicopter, this time I chose the rocket launcher to kill all the agents inside. Here we get Mother down to about a quarter of her health, and the gods gift us a quadcopter to fly up to her and finish her off once and for all. So we take our Uzi and targeting the center of the propeller, cause the helicopter to crash one last time, ultimately defeating Mother. Where we get an epic final cutscene. Oh! Dude. But the game's not over yet, because I still have a few more trophies to collect, and one being this ridiculous trophy for shooting all the names in the credits. And my problem with this is that you are immediately thrown into these credits and have no clue what's going on until some of the names have already passed by. So as you probably already guessed, I had to go all the way back, beat the boss fight once again, just to be prepared to shoot the names in the credit scene. But in the process of doing all this, I collected 2 more acorns in the platform level of the boss fight that I just had previously missed. And after defeating Mother once again and shooting all 129 names in the credits, we get the Street Credits trophy for a perfect score in the credits minigame. And at this point, I was only 4 trophies away from the platinum, and they were all super easy to clean up. So the first trophy we took care of was the Shavier trophy, which is achieved by shaving 30 citizens' heads with the quadcopter. Next, we rob a few more people, giving us the Crime Wave trophy for holding up 20 citizens. And with just 2 trophies remaining, our next goal is to let citizens photograph us, so we head over to the water park and become a celebrity for about 10 minutes and unlock the Photogenic trophy. And our final trophy of the game was to perform a takedown with every weapon, which I had thought I already did. So I ended up testing out a few weapons, then eventually figured out that I hadn't done the shotgun yet. So we buy a shotgun, then hit this last agent with the shotgun takedown, giving us the Action Button Hero trophy, and then the Platinum Acorn final trophy of the game. Yes! Platinum Acorn trophy earned. Achieve all the trophies. And scroll with a gun. And although that was all the trophies, there was still one secret location left in the game that might have given me nightmares. This location being the dollhouse, which is unlocked by placing 2 jack-o'-lanterns outside the door. Once we enter the house, we are welcomed by hundreds of creepy dolls staring directly at us. So we grab the 2 eyeballs laying around the house and throw them into this cabinet, and this is where the game basically turns into round 100 Call of Duty Zombies. After fighting off what seemed like an endless horde of dolls, we get the Resident Squirrel Golden Acorn and the invisibility skin for our squirrel. But we were still missing 1 Golden Acorn and 2 outfits from this house that I just had no idea how to get because I searched up and down so many times. And I don't know how anybody figured this out, but once you equip the sparkler hat, you can light the fireplace, giving you a golden acorn. And with 1 collectible remaining in the entire game, all we have to do is jump into the fire, giving us the bald skin for the squirrel. And that was it for Squirrel with the Gun. We collected every golden acorn, every reload wedge, every outfit, and every trophy. With a final playtime of 9 hours that ended up taking us just a little bit longer than expected. For it being my first platinum trophy, I can't complain.